is Coach B, ADHD Money Coach B. I am the owner of Young, Rich, and Rooted, a financial coaching company who works with neurodivergent women. I help gifted Black women shift from feeling financially frustrated to feeling financially unfuckwittable. If you are new here, hit the follow button. You're going to want to stay. If you are not new here, say hi in the comments. I want to see my repeat followers in here. Drop a 1 in the comment if you have been here before. If you're new here, put a number 2 in the comments, okay? All right. Y'all, I'm not going to be before you long because, believe it or not, today is my birthday. But it is Money Monday, and I had made a commitment to y'all to show up on Mondays, and so here I am. So I hope that y'all make a commitment to me, and as a birthday gift to me, hit the share button, hit the like button, hit the follow button, double tap the screen if you're on TT, because I've got a word for y'all on this wonderful Monday morning, evening, afternoon. I don't know what time it is, whatever time it is in the world that you are watching this. Before I do that, let me just make sure I get this live posted. So just give me 1 quick second because I want to make sure we get the word out that I'm live. Let me get the word out. Hey, how you doing, Tweetness? How you doing, friend? Let me get started in just a couple seconds. I got a question about boycotting Target, boycotting whatever. I want to know if we're doing it wrong, and I got some things to say. So give me a second to just share this out and get all the peoples. All right. And I'm going to, let me switch this full screen real quick. And then I will get started in just a couple of seconds. Do me a favor while you're here. It's my birthday. So, if you want to go ahead and double tap the screen, I would appreciate that. It don't cost you nothing to go and send me some birthday love. I appreciate you. And if you want to give me 2 birthday gifts, it would be really nice if you hit the share button. I love you forever. I appreciate that. It's my birthday and I know you want to hit the share button. Give me 1 second. I just need to pull up one thing. All right, here we go. Thank you. Double tap. All right, y'all. So let's get into it. For those of y'all on Facebook land, hey, how you doing? Thank you for joining. And you're new here. I am ADHD Money Coach B. I talk about mental health as it relates to your money. It is my birthday, and normally, I would just give myself the whole entire day. But I made a commitment to y'all be here on Money Mondays, and so I am showing up for y'all. I appreciate y'all showing up for me. It means a lot to me. But I got something to say. Because I woke up this morning very specifically thinking about the political conundrum that we are stuck in. And I do believe, and I want you to just hang tight with me because I have ADHD, so sometimes I got to take you around about to get to a point. So just follow me there. I promise you I'm going to get to a point here. I believe that anything the enemy means for evil, that he means for bad, God has the capacity to turn it into something good. And as a neurodivergent person, specifically with ADHD, I often find it hard to not see strings of events, like how things will play out. I don't know if this is just me, but I find it hard to not see patterns. Some people, I feel like they have the luxury. And I'm going to call this a luxury, okay? They have the luxury of being just present in the moment. Like, they can just be in this moment. But people with ADHD, we're often light years ahead. We're thinking about things 3 years from now based off of one little domino piece that we just saw. Now, it's a gift and a curse in my opinion, because when we see like little subtle shifts of behaviors or situations in politics, our brain just can't help but to go to work and like formulate a million possible outcomes, possible reasons that something is happening, but also like possible things that could happen. So we want to understand like the why, the origin story. Our brain is going to work like a computer trying to process like what happened in the past, but then our brain is also simultaneously going to work thinking about potential outcomes as a result of a decision that's gotten made, right? That's the divergent part of our brain, because we see more than just one potential outcome, right? That in itself is kind of chaotic because we get in paralysis because we see too many opportunities right here, right? So just stick with me, right? We can see so many different possible problems long before they exist. And so people around us might think like we're unnecessarily anxious simply because they can't see what we see. They might think that we're jumping to conclusions, and that they're kind of true about the jumping to conclusion, but we haven't really jumped anything. We haven't jumped past anything. We've followed in our brains a sequence of events at lightning speeds in our heads and determined, right, that this is one of many realistic possibilities. So when TikTok goes down, and the DOE is getting shut down, and the Consumer Finance Protection Bureau is being shut down, and people are being laid off, and rights are being restricted, right? And corporations are being forced to comply with orders and remove DEI values, and the media is being fined into submission. It should seem painfully obvious to everybody, but it might only be obvious to some. That I feel like this administration's end goal is to leave us totally dependent on the systems around us to survive. We have long needed permission for sustenance. Just the idea that we had to beg for human rights and civil rights for as long as we had been, right? We were blinded by the American dream of consumerism. And this isn't what the American dream actually is. That's actually a story for another day. But what they visibly showed us was the American dream, right? That we had this physical representation of what success looked like, and it looked like what everyone else had, right? But the beauty about what's happening right now in this administration is that we have the opportunity to reset ourselves as individuals and as a culture of people. Okay. Now, you saw the topic. The topic is about boycotting, right? So track with me. Okay. We have the ability to reset ourselves because they have created and groomed us to be dependent, right? We're so used to our comforts that we don't even notice that most of the things that we think we need, we don't need. You know, I watched this girl's video, right? She was talking about walking around Target, and she, was thinking about the boycott, and she was saying like she was going to do her last Target run, right? So she's like, I'm walking around Target to try to get like the last minute things, and then I'm done. I'm boycotting, right? And she started walking around, and I thought this was when she made the reflection, I was like, yo, this is so true. She said, I'm looking around the store, and I realized there is literally not one thing that I actually need from Target. And because if you think about what type of store Target is more like a luxury brand, right? Everything in Target is like to give you a feeling of like, you know how you feel when you leave Target, like got my little Starbucks coffee, I'm feeling myself, right? You leave feeling a little better than others. Okay, I feel a little better than you because I'm not in Walmart. You know what I mean? Like Walmart is about, Target is about like a status. That's a status store. Like when you shop at Target, when you go, I shop at Target, you feel a little different than people who shop at Walmart. The products they sell are not necessities. They're luxury items. Everything, the makeup that they sell, the apparel that they sell, even the food that they sell are luxury options, right? And so anything that you need at Target, you could probably get someplace else. So when we think about like boycotting the store, for some people, the idea that, oh, we got to stay here because, I need somewhere to buy my clothes or my food, you do, but it not necessarily that store. And track with me because this is not about Target specifically, but this is where this kind of came from in my mind. It's like we've been groomed for a long time to believe that we need these comforts, right? And when we get to a point where we're more concerned about, our life being so comfortable because society has placed this need on us to have these things and it's so normal to us, then we feel vulnerable. And we are vulnerable, right? It's not even just a feeling. We are vulnerable when they take them away. When TikTok went down, I don't know about y'all, but I felt vulnerable because I was depending on this platform to communicate with people, right? To communicate things in my business. Not the only platform, but regardless if I had multiple platforms, I felt violated when someone took something away from me that I was using. And for some creators, it really was their only way of sustenance, right? When we need their schools, right? Whether we need their, let me go back for a bit because I want to go back to this platform. Like when we depend on social media specifically, or this platform, this one platform specifically, we put ourselves in a position where they can control us based on our need, our dependency on this. They can take it away from us and tell us that if we take this, if you don't comply, we'll take this away from you. And they've got leverage over this. And that leaves us vulnerable. So, like I said, for example, when we need their job and when they take it away, we're vulnerable because we don't have a source of income. When we need their schools, right? So when DOE is threatened, we worry about our ability to learn and our kids' ability to learn because we've not been cultivating our own way of learning and routine for teaching our kids outside of it. More importantly, we've overstated the value of formal education. We look down on people who learn from the library and YouTube and elevate those with degrees, but no application in the real world. And in that way, we've become dependent on their systems. Because if we had the degrees, if we need the degrees to be validated, then we need them to give us a school. That's why I love the Hillman Talk movement, because we created a way for us to learn, and the legitimacy was in our decision that the education was credible, not from some accrediting body that affirmed that. That's why I'm nervous about the current, I know y'all have been following Hillman Talk. There's been a little bit of motion and drama around it, but I'm nervous about the direction of the formality that it wants to take, because while becoming a formal institution demonstrates how seriously we take ourselves and how quickly we can get things done when we want to, it undermines the point of us deciding that our original way of passing knowledge to each other, the way our ancestors did, was enough for us to learn something new, to master a new skill that can earn us money, a way for us to not depend on their job, but to create ones for ourselves and for our children. But I'm a financial coach. Okay. So let me tell you the money implication here. Okay. And I mean, obviously a career and earning is a part of the budget, right? I want to tell you the silver lining of this fuckery of leadership that we have right now. What we get out of this leadership that's making us so mad that we want to boycott company after company after company after company after company is that we get to reset our spending habits, because we get to reset our values. The boycott of Target or any other company is hard for some people because they genuinely believe that they need the things that are in there. And where else can they go if they need it? It is a fact. If they need groceries, and that's the closest store, because some people do live in food deserts. I mean, if you live in a food desert, you probably don't live close to a Target either. But some people legitimately live far from a store, that they would prefer to shop at, and they're dependent on them. Right? Some people live in food deserts, and the closest place they have is Walmart or Target. But we value convenience more than self-sustainability. But what if this movement, this chaotic time in our political climate, this time where it feels like they are taking everything away and companies are betraying us, what if this gives us a chance to value something different? If we value sustainability, we see not having a Walmart not having, not being able to shop at Walmart, not being able, whether it's not having one, not being able to shop at one, or simply choosing not to shop at one, we see that as like an indifference. Like, I mean, one way or the other, like whether I don't want to be there, whether I can't be there because they don't have one, or they don't want me there, or whatever it is, like we're indifferent either way. If we don't need them for anything. Like, you can shop there, but I don't have to. You know what I mean? Like, I can take it or leave it. It makes our life easier, but it doesn't stop us from running. Having those stores, they do make our life easier because it's more convenient. It's right here. All the things are in there, right? But if we have independence from them, it doesn't stop our life from running. We're not distraught if they suddenly stop supporting us or stop hiring. Like, if we're not dependent on that company, we don't care what y'all doing over there, right? Because we know how to make our own clothes and grow our own food. And we barter with our neighbors for eggs or whatever it is that we need to barter with each other for, right? We have a community and an ecosystem that's not just dependent on consuming, but on collaborating and community. And that way, we take down these greedy corporations who allow this type of governance, who are among those who are strong arming your employers and your favorite stores into betraying their employees and their customers. Because a lot of these companies that are changing their policies, they don't even want to change them, but they behind the scenes are getting strong armed into doing them. And we as employees and as customers are feeling betrayed by them. But for you, the person, if you stop spending all your hard-earned money on things you don't need and never even wanted, but society programmed you to believe that you need and you wanted. And guess what happens if we aren't wasting our money consuming anymore? Guess what happens, y'all? What happens if we stop consuming? And I'm not talking about like a boycott, right? Because I'm talking about the difference between a diet and a lifestyle change. And if any of you guys have ever done a diet, a diet, you have this moment where you lose the weight, and then as soon as you go back to it, like, you might be bigger than you was before you even started, right? We have a diet where we stop spending there. They give in just a little bit to placate us, and then they betray us slowly but surely, probably worse than they started off before, right? I'm not talking about dieting from the stores. I'm talking about a lifestyle change where we change our lifestyle, where we are not dependent on these stores, where we have an ecosystem that makes us sustainable. And I know it feels like, I know, but it's too hard. And who has time for that? Who has money for that? That's the beauty of this moment right here, because you're about to discover that you don't need as much as you need. If you attempt to do a Target boycott, I want you to observe how little you actually needed versus wanted from that store. I'm talking about needed, like, did you need food? Could you find no other way to get it? Was the other food not as good? Did you need clothes? Probably didn't. I'm just going to go ahead and give you that one for free, right? Did you need clothes? And if you needed clothes, was there no other place that you could get that need fulfilled? Right? Did you need whatever you went in the store for? Probably not. Most of the things we buy day to day, we don't need, we want. I know it might be hard to hear. I'm gonna keep it a buck. I don't need most of the stuff I go to the store for. I want it. I tell myself I need it, but I don't need it. Not really. I could solve whatever problem. Anytime you're making a purchase, you're purchasing to solve a problem. There's a problem there that society has told you that this is a solution for, right? If you decide to buy a hair scarf, the need that you've convinced yourself is that gosh, without a scarf, there's no way for me to protect my hair. And I don't have anything at home that will suffice. They've decided that that's a need. And so you go because I need to cover my hair. And while we do need to protect our hair, back in the day, I grew up with a stocking cap on my head. Okay. I had a way to protect my hair that came right out of the drawer. And I'm not telling y'all to put stocking caps on your head. But what I am saying is, reality is we have lots of fabric in the home that we probably are not using or wearing anymore that we can turn into something if we really wanted to. If we really needed to resolve that need, it probably wouldn't require us to go to another store. It probably wouldn't. So, and I'm wrapping this up real soon. Okay. What would happen if we weren't wasting our money consuming? We would have, here's what we would have, y'all. We would have more money for investing in ourselves, in our businesses, in our communities, and way more money for social activism, right? One of the reasons why his campaign was effective is because his campaign, his party had money to fund his campaign. We have a lot of remarkable people who want to run for offices, and they need donations in order to be able to run their campaign, to be able to put ads out. And we would love to be able to support them, but we cannot afford to financially. But what would happen if we made the decision that we just live differently now? That I just don't know why I subscribed to the notion that I needed all that bull crap, and I saved my money, and I had money to invest, and I had money to save, and I had money to be able to promote whatever political candidate actually served me. Thank you so much for the hearts. What would happen? What would happen? Don't you realize they don't want you to notice that? That's why they're always telling you to buy. We see commercials at us. Every time we turn around is buy something else, buy something else, buy something else. We can't get on this platform over here on my right camera, TT, without a swipe, TikTok shop, buy some shit. Why? Because if you're buying all this stuff, you don't have money left to invest in yourself, to invest in your community, to invest in your businesses, to invest in your parties, your political parties you're interested in. You can't be their competition. You become their consumer. You become dependent on them. And they know that. So they need you to keep buying shit. They need you to keep buying shit. But I need y'all to not just be mad enough to boycott Target. Fuck Target. Who cares if you boycott Target or not? This is not about that particular store. Shop at Target. Who cares? What I care about is that you change your values, that you're not shopping anywhere more than you need to. Not because I want you to get into deprivation. That's not the goal. What I'm saying is that you have this awareness of when you're being manipulated. How we got to a point where we just buy without thought, without intention, and we're on autopilot. And I'm not trying to shade anybody because I'm a victim of it. Right? We have been groomed. We have been programmed to think we need what we need, that we have to do it one particular way. And the way they program this is the most expensive. They tell us shit like, pull yourself up by your bootstraps, right? And so we want to do everything all by ourselves because they told us we had to. So we don't get to pull our money and work collectively because we think we have to do it independently. We think we got to do it by ourselves because that's what they sold us. That's what the colonizers sold us very specifically. And I say that because other cultures come into this country and they don't work like that. And we wonder how they managed to fly the hell past us. You from ATL? Hey, how did they manage to fly past us? Whatever you see happening around you that feels like is leaving you vulnerable, allow that to be motivation to depend on that system less and less. So if your job security is making you feel vulnerable, allow that to be motivation to invest in assets that pay you passively so you're not dependent on a job. If food prices and availability are leaving you with food insecurity and making you feel vulnerable to provide nutrients for your kids, let that motivate you enough to start a garden this summer. If I'm going to do my garden again this year, if you guys don't know, I have a little baby patio garden and I'm slowly moving from a black thumb to a green thumb. I do pretty good outside, but I'm killing everything indoors. But during the pandemic, having my own garden helped out. because I had my own vegetables in the backyard. I had my own kale and cabbage in the backyard. Okay. So if these food prices, the price of eggs are pissing you off, let it piss you off enough to start growing your own food. Obviously, you can't grow no eggs, but you can certainly get some chickens. I don't know where you live at, but you could if you need eggs that bad, right? But even if it's not eggs, you might choose to grow some other food so that all you have to shop for is eggs. And so you're not pressed for $8 eggs so badly that you're willing to vote against your best interest because you think he's going to pull the price of eggs down. That you're not blinded by that because you dependent on eggs coming down, because you could grow the rest of your food and all you got to buy at the grocery store now is eggs. Okay. All right. If you're feeling vulnerable because you just heard, and I just heard this the other day, that the IRS next week are about to fire like 15,000 employees, right? And you haven't filed your taxes yet, and you're getting scared that you won't get your tax refund on time, and you have banked on it. You put things in your Christmas cart in December, feeling confident that you were going to get your tax refund by this date, and you'd be able to pay that credit card bill off. And now it's looking like you don't know what the hell is going to happen, what the IRS is going to do. And it's got you feeling vulnerable, right? Let that vulnerability sit with you long enough for you to spend less and save more this year so that you don't need that funky check. Matter of fact, you don't need that check. You don't need a stimulus check. And not only that, let it piss you off enough to actually correct your W-4 so that you're actually not overpaying the government more than you absolutely have to. Because the only reason why you're getting a tax refund is because you're paying them too much during the tax year. That's your money that you're getting back. So if you could correct your W-4 and get it during the year, you don't need the refund check. So you don't care if the IRS has 15,000 more employees to process these tax refund checks on, because you've been banking it the whole year, right? A lot of us depend on that tax refund check because we're maybe not necessarily good at saving. So we prefer to overpay during the year. And we kind of treat the IRS like a little savings account, like a little bank account. Like, you overpaying them every pay period. They holding on to your money. At the end of the year, you get a nice lump of money. And it's because that many of us know that we're better with a nice lump of money than we would be with an extra $10 in our paycheck every pay period, right? So we're like, if I get an extra $10 or $20, I'm gonna end up spending that at Starbucks. Like, let's be for real. I'm not even gonna know that it came, and then I'll never have it. And so the tax refund is, for some people, the best way for them to get it. Make this situation piss you off enough that you're like, no, I'm going to acquire more discipline. If my tax refund check is normally $2,400 a year, that means that it's about $200 a month. That means it's about $100 a pay period. That I'm going to make a commitment to myself to treat myself like the IRS and transfer $100 every pay period to a bank that's completely separate from my regular bank account, so I don't see it, just like I don't see my tax money, except this time I get the interest. Because when you overpay on your taxes, the IRS is making money off your money, because you better believe they collect an interest off of the money that's sitting there. That's money that could have been sitting in your account for the whole year growing interest. That's passive income that you've given to the IRS for free. And believe me, they don't pay that shit back. Okay? So allow this to piss you off enough to correct your pay stubs so you don't care what the IRS is doing. That you don't need your IRS refund check on time. So you're not manipulated into thinking that somebody's doing something better than the other. I don't care what y'all do, because I'm good over here. I'm pivotable. I love for it to be able to be processed, because I like that little lump sum. But in lieu of that, while y'all get your life together, I'm a create a similar scenario for myself over here, because we're self-sustained. Okay. Make sure I'm not missing no comments on both of y'all platforms. It's hard to toggle back and forth between the two of y'all. I'm about to wrap up soon, I promise. I didn't mean to come in super hot, but okay. I want this to allow you to, I want it to motivate you to discard the American value of independence. I know that sounds crazy. I want you to allow it to discard the colonizers' American value of independence, of pulling yourself up by your bootstraps, so that you're forced to suffer in silence, wasting money, living in a house and paying bills all by yourself, whether you're married or single. And instead, I want you to reclaim our African values and the values so many other immigrant cultures maintain when they come here, where they can build wealth much faster. And that is our culture of interdependence, where we depend on each other, where the needs are mutual, where we live together in shared homes and save money faster, right? We have more money to buy properties as a result. And we build businesses faster with or without their loans or grants, because they threaten to take away a lot of little things with the DEI. So now are you going to be able to get all of this? Listen, when we have that type of interdependence, sure, we're going to go after it, but if you don't give it to us, we're good. We watch other cultures come here and they're good with or without that money because they are interdependent on each other. They were living with each other. They were stacking cash and they were paying off their house real fast. And then when they paid off that house, they took that money and bought another property, and they ain't moving to that property. They simply bought the property and they rented that property out and let that be passive income so that it could continue to pay for that next building, which was a commercial building. And then they got a business and they all lived in together and they worked together. And we don't have that mindset because they told us, pull yourself up by your bootstraps. You're independent. You're nothing if you don't do it by yourself. And we believe that bullshit. So we stop working together and we hate on each other. And anytime we see somebody moving forward, we feel like we got to tear them back down instead of working together, instead of seeing their success as proof that it's possible for you too. And making it easy for y'all to work together. Allow this to piss you off enough to change your values, to understand that they have been brainwashing us into not helping each other, into spending more money that we needed to spend so that we don't have any resources available for what we want to do. Let it piss you off enough to get rid of the idea of independence and be okay with interdependence. Because I know a lot of people won't make the major lifestyle changes that they need to make because they're afraid of what it's going to look like. If you decide to move in with your sister or back in with your mom, people are going to wonder if I'm struggling, if I'm broke, as opposed to you got goals. And we care if they worried if we broke. And none of them is paying our bills. Who cares? What if we were broke? So what? So we're going to struggle for face value? For what? No. But this isn't even about struggle. This is about strategic strategy, that we're choosing to be interdependent and work together to support each other, because truth be told, your mama needs your help too. These bills is high for all of us, including her. So we're not moving back in with mama or living with mama because we're broke. We're moving back in to reach generational goals faster, to catch up, because we got 400 years to catch up for, and they trying to set us back more. So we got to break this mindset that I got to have my own. I got it for. Yeah, that's nice. There's a season for that. Right now, we need to work collectively and build. We need to collaborate, whether it's in business or in our lifestyle, but we got to work smarter. We got to spend less. We got to pool our resources together. Let me know if I'm making sense. For those of y'all who are just joining, like, who is this girl going off? I'm ADHD Money Coach B. I talk about mental health as it relates to your money. And every once in a while, I get real pissed off about something that's going in the water, and I come on here and I go on a rant. But usually on Mondays, I talk specifically just around money. And this topic is about money. However, I just feel like I need to come to Jesus moment, okay? It is my birthday, and if you want to give me some birthday love, double tap the screen and send me some hearts. Thank you. I'm making sense. Okay, both of y'all on both screens, same time. Appreciate you. Absolutely making sense. Good. Thank you, Pooh. Thank you, Frank. Appreciate y'all. Thank you. Boom, 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 boom. It's my birthday. Listen, I said I wasn't going. It's my birthday, but I made a commitment to y'all to show up here on Mondays. So here I am on my birthday because I love y'all and y'all make me happy. So this is God's work. Okay, the work I'm doing. I'm a little righteous and a little ratchet, y'all. I love God, but I cuss a lot, and it is what it is. I'm in here, and I feel like I have a charge on my life that when I see something, to say something about it. right? I feel like we're being manipulated into consumerism so that we don't have money to make real change. We can't afford to promote politicians that will actually impact our lives. Thank you for the birthday wishes, Frankie. I appreciate you. We don't have money to promote the politicians that mean something to us. We can't afford to boycott, stores because they're cheaper, and the stores that we could shop at, they're more expensive, and we're like, gosh, I can't afford to. But if we have the resources, then we can afford to shop at a more expensive store. We can afford to support Black businesses. One of the main complaints of shopping Black is that the prices are high. Well, the prices are high because they have, like, we're not Walmart, right? It costs us a whole lot more per unit to make a product. And so in order to sell it, we have to charge a higher price point. We're not ordering, thousands at a time like Walmart can afford to do. And we would love to shop Black, but we're like, oh, at that price, I can't afford a $50 hoodie, a $60 hoodie. I'm gonna just go ahead and go to Walmart where I can get this for $20. But when we get to a point where we get out of consumerism and we stop allowing a brand to tell us what's important, listen, right here, like this moment right here, I'm sitting here thinking, think about anytime one of these brands piss us off, right? We're like, boycott this brand, boycott. Y'all throw a brand out here that's like a clothing brand that's like has demonstrated themselves as racist. I can't think of one right now because I don't really pay attention to brands like that. But let's just say Gucci or whatever, right? And we find out that, or Tommy Hilfiger, I remember growing up, right? They were talking about they didn't like Black people, whatever. You find that out, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, let's boycott them, right? Boycott that brand. My question to y'all is, who the hell told y'all that brand means something in the first place? They put a perceived value that brand means something, and we hold it to the chest that when we wear it, we make it mean something about us. Whose last name is more important than yours? You're more worried about somebody else's last name than your own last name. Most of the time when you see me, I'm wearing my own apparel, my company's apparel. And it was because I heard someone say that statement, was like, you wearing somebody else's brand. Does that brand have more value to you than yours? Does that brand have more value to you than yours? Does that name have more value to you than yours? And when I hear this, when I say, does that name have more value to you than yours? Hear me. Their name, your desire to wear their brand makes you put your name, your credit score, your reputation, because that's your reputation in the financial industry, your credit score at risk. You'll charge your credit card. You'll risk your name to wear that name. Does their name mean more to you than yours? And I get it, right? Because they made us think this way. I want you to hear this as not like a rebuke. Like, don't feel bad. I want you to feel like free, or God forbid, woke, right? Like, yo, they sold us that this is what makes you. I don't know if you guys have ever read this book, or it was a documentary called like How to Sell to the Negro. And it talks about how, like, as Black people, because we're never respected, how we go out and, they were talking, like, this was a documentary of, like, I don't know, like the 50s, 40s, right? And they talk about how, like, we go out in society, people are spitting in our faces and yelling at us and make us feel really bad. And so when we go to the store and we can wear something nice, it's like the one time we get to feel good about ourselves. Like, at least when we're wearing something, we go, I am something, I'm worthy, I'm valuable. It makes us feel good, right? So it is mental, it's psychological, right? That we've endured all this trauma. And so we are just trying to cope with being abused for centuries. And trauma lives in our DNA. Our DNA, there's science, there's studies that shows that your DNA is changed from trauma. The trauma that our ancestors endured lives in us. We're subconsciously trying to cope with trauma that we didn't always even experience, but trauma we're still experiencing right now, and we're using consumerism to mitigate us. You said food for thought. Yes, food for thought. Exactly. You said, oh my God, it's very hard to support Black businesses because of their prices. I know it is. It's hard for us Black businesses to price our products because of our prices. Like, we don't feel good about it either, because we know, like, man, this will be hard for me to pay for it too. But realistically, I can't sell you for something that costs. So, like, for example, my budgeting workbook, I would love to sell this to you for a lot less. Look how thick this is. But do you know how much this costs me to print? A lot. In order for me to stay in business, I have to charge a reasonable price, not because I want to be profitable, but because if my business is not sustained, I don't get to keep doing this work. Not for me, but because of the community. Like, if my business fails and my main passion, I have never been income driven. I have always been purpose driven, like, period. Like, I just want to be the person that I didn't have when I was struggling. I get emotional just thinking about it. Like, the education, the information I needed, the support, the resource I needed, it didn't exist for me. And I'm determined to be that. But if my business isn't sustainable, if it doesn't make money, I can't do this work. So I got to charge a profitable price for my product in order for me to be able to volunteer, because I do a lot of volunteer work. In order for me to be able to volunteer to do work for people who can't afford me, I got to charge real prices for my real products, for my real services, so that I am free to be able to do the work when I need to, when I want to. It's hard for us as Black businesses to do that. It's hard for us because we can't purchase at mass the way that big corporations can. But here's the thing. We can afford to support each other if we're not spending so much money on somebody else's label who don't care about you at all. Who don't care, never cared about you and never will. So you're absolutely right about them wanting us to be just consumers. Literally all they want. That's why they want to get rid of your education, right? They're attacking DOE. Why? Because if you're not educated, right, then you are never going to be able to be their competition. You're just smart enough to be their consumer, maybe smart enough to work for them. They only want you to be a robot. They're programming us, both in the media, both in our education systems. Like, the education system legitimately needs an overhaul, but they're like, shoot, we don't even want them to have that. That's why financial literacy is still not mandatory in most states, which is crazy to me, right? We all go to school to go to work, to get a job, to pay for our lifestyle, right? The whole point of going to college, I worked in higher education for 13 years. The point of us going to college is to get a career that makes us money, right? I mean, granted, we want a career that's fulfilling too, but like, part of the goal is to like make money, right? But at no point they think it's important for you to learn how to manage the money you're going to make. You got entertainers and athletes who are making millions of dollars and fumbling it because they don't have financial education. You think that's on purpose? No. They know. They know that they're not educating us in financial literacy. I worked in higher education. I see the requirements to graduate. College is not even required. It's an elective, just like Black history. It's an elective. You got to have the wherewithal to know that that's an important class to take. You got to know that that's even an option. And they ain't even got a lot of the electives. You got more gym options than financial literacy options in the college curriculum. I dare you right now to go look up a college curriculum right now. And I'm talking about business finance. I'm talking about personal finance, because they'll give you business finances. Because why? I told you, these education systems are designed for you to be employees. They want you to know what you need to know to work for them, not what you need to know to work for yourself. They don't care about that. They don't care about you knowing what you need to know for yourself. You got to get that on your own. And if you go get that on your own, then you're not credible, because you went to YouTube University, or you went to the library, you read a book, or you took somebody's course on Facebook, and they make you think that it's not valuable. That's why I love the idea of Hillman Talk, because we decided that that information is credible. And let me tell you something. I have sat in some of these professors' classes, and they are credible. Okay. You may not be getting college actual credit for that, but it's worth sitting in them, because I learned a little bit about people analytics the other day, and I was fascinated. Okay. I was like, this is a quality education. Like, I feel like I should get credit. Like, okay. I'm a little off the beaten path, but I'm gonna spin the block because I'm almost done. Sorry, y'all got ADHD, so you let me go on a tangent. I'm gonna go. Y'all gotta bring me back in. Okay. I see thumbs up. Thank you. Whew. Y'all, as we round this thing out, here's what I want you to do. I want you guys to get mad enough to be okay with interdependence, to be okay still living at mama's house, not because we are lazy and bums, but because we're supporting each other, because you're supporting her, because you guys are trying to build generational wealth faster than you ever could independently, where everyone in the house is contributing to the pot to pay off mama's mortgage faster, right? And then once that's paid off, we stay there longer with that free mortgage to stack even faster for the next property. And then we get that passive income to buy the next property. And now we've got cash flow coming into the whole family that leaves us less dependent on our jobs, so that if anyone loses their jobs, or in hostile situations, whether it's a work situation or abusive marriage, or you just get sick and you need to take time off, you feel empowered to leave and get rest without risking your financial stability. Where we can move out when it makes sense to, and not because society told us that we should because we're 18 years old. Where we live like the Golden Girls at our old years, if the husband has left us or dies, so that we still have each other as emotional and financial support, and we don't have to depend as much on Social Security. So the families of all of our best friends in our old age come visit us in case one of us has already lost everyone in our old age. That's the possible domino effect that I see. Now, I see other bad ones too, because I told you I'm neurodivergent, so I'm seeing all the ways that things can play out. But I believe in the law of attraction. And so I'm choosing to focus more of my energy on this one possibility. And I want you to as well. I want you to commit this year to embracing the vulnerability that this administration is making us feel, and allowing it to be a strength that pushes you to learn a new skill, to live a different lifestyle, to boldly declare in budgeting instead of worrying, that I'm budgeting instead of worrying if people were wondering if you're falling off. I dare you this year to choose that it's the beginning of your journey to becoming, as my book says, financially unfuckwittable. Probably would help if I turn the camera around the right way so you guys can actually see what this should look like. I want y'all to make that commitment. I want y'all to commit to becoming financially unfuckwittable in some way, in some little way where you have built a bit of self-sustainability. That's the promise. That's the birthday gift that you can give me this year. The next birthday gift that you can give me this year, especially if you're on Facebook, because I know you can share it right away. TikTok, you're going to have to wait till I repost this, but it's to share this post. If you found this conversation helpful, tell me which part in particular that you found helpful in the comments. You said, can you pin the name of your book? Yes, I can. It is, I need you, if you could type it in here, I can pin you. I don't think that I can pin my own comment, but I can pin yours. But this is the book. Right. And keep following, because I have more things coming this year. My mission, I am so hell-bent on figuring out what we need to bridge the gap in education and financial literacy. Like, what can make it easier to digest, easier to learn? How can I simplify this? As I said, I'm a money coach for Black women with ADHD. So I focus on the ways our brain consumes information in the way we need, even visually on the page, what it needs to look like. And so anytime that I create something, I am having that mindset. So if you're using the tools and you have questions, it's always helpful for you to tell me where you get stuck, because that helps me understand how I can improve it so that you guys can learn it, because I want to make sure that y'all get it. And I don't like speaking like suit and tie jargon, like very regular, I need it to be digestible, relatable for us, by us, so that we get this shit and then we stop being imprisoned by them. You said, baby, my eyes ain't good enough to see. Okay, let me see if I can make the comment in here. Okay. Listen, my eyes ain't that good either. I promise you. These glasses, look, I'm spelling it wrong. I got an eye doctor coming up because I'm like, are you sure? Y'all keep telling me my vision hasn't changed, but I don't believe you because the way I be struggling to read with my glasses on is crazy. Okay, so that's the book, and then it still doesn't let me pin it, but I just put it down here. And you could also DM me. I can send you the link too. It's in my bio as well. If you go to my bio, you'll see the link tree. Y'all, if this was helpful to you, please let me know what specifically, like what stood out, like what's the part that really sank in with you, what's the part that you're like marinating on, because I listen to like people. I'm inspired by everybody. I'm inspired by children. I'm inspired by, like, I feel like God could talk to me anywhere, anyway. So I hear little nuggets and I just hear a gem. I'm like, let me write that down. There's something about that I just need to chew on. So when somebody said that thing about wearing somebody else's brand and their last name is more important than yours, and I was like, ooh, I immediately cleaned out my closet. I'm not playing. Like, when I tell you that day, I went in and was like, I've been wanting to purge for a long time anyway. But this gave me a different level of motivation. It was like, I'm getting rid of all unless it has like real sentimental value, I'm getting rid of all of my t-shirts that had like a brand name across the front, because I don't have a lot of space for a bunch of t-shirts. So if I'm gonna choose between your t-shirt with your name versus my name or my business name, I'm going with my business name. I only got space for my hoodies. Let me show you mine. Let me show you one real quick. Now y'all know I got the hoodies that match the workbook, the ones that say financially unfuckwittable. I have those as well, but these are the new ones that just came in. This one is it says, nope, I'm on a budget. This is my collection about boundaries. Like, I'm one of those people who I like an overgiver a lot of times when it comes to like help, like, I'm better now. I'm a lot better than I used to be, but or if I'm also a bit of an introvert too. So sometimes I don't even want to talk. Like, this allows me to say what I said without like, no, I don't want no Girl Scout cookies. Leave me alone. I'm on a budget, right? No, I'm on a budget. No. When you're walking through the like mall and the kiosk is trying to get you to buy this, that, and the third, like, I'm on a budget. I came here for one thing and I'm going home. That's that one, right? And then this one says, I'm good. It stands for I'm getting out of debt. I'm getting out of debt, right? Which shirts do you think I should wear? Gucci, or should I wear that one? I mean, it seems obvious to me now, but it didn't before. I'm gonna wear that one for multiple reasons. First of all, when I buy my own apparel, it's a tax write-off. It's a uniform. It's got my brand name on the side of it. Second of all, I'm a walking billboard. So now it's a conversation starter. So when I'm out and about and you see me with the shirt that says I'm good on it, and somebody reads and they're like, that's so cute, that's so funny, they get to talk to me about what I do. And it's not about the shirt for me, because our products are like a side piece of the business. The work I do is in financial coaching and counseling, right? So the apparel I found to be wonderful reminders for myself. Like, when I see myself in this shirt, I'll be like, girl, you don't got no business in here. Get out. You on a budget, right? It helps me out. So I figure it will help other people too. But the goal is to be able to strike up conversations. I'm a natural introvert. Y'all can't tell. I'm nervous in new social settings. So when I'm comfortable, I'm loquacious. I'm a talkative person. But when I'm new, I'm probably going to sit in the corner. Well, my shirt is my conversation starter. So do you think this is more valuable to me than if I walked in there with like Da Vinci, like some other brand? Like, nobody's going to talk to me about that shirt, but they're going to talk to me about this shirt potentially. And at least if they did talk to me about, let's say, some brand shirt, the conversation would never lead to talking about the financial independence of the Black community. This conversation can go there though. So this conversation has value to me. So if I'm deciding where I want to spend $60 on a hoodie, it's this one. But they have convinced us that we should spend $300 on theirs, and we're perfectly fine paying for their brand name, purse, everything, but not investing in our own businesses, not investing in our own education, not paying for a course we know we need, not buying a workbook we know we need, but we will justify everything else. Thank you so much, Issues of the Heart. Appreciate that. Thank you for the love. We will justify that. We're completely comfortable, but we will talk ourselves out of it. And I don't want you to feel shame when you realize, man, I have, because I want you to know that's how they programmed us. Okay. They programmed you. So you're working exactly the way they designed you to. So that part's not your fault. Now you have new information. What you do from here out is up to you. We didn't know before, and now we know. What are we going to do moving forward now that the seed has been dropped into us? We can either ignore it, or we can be intentional about trying to remember it. And I'm saying intentional about trying to remember it because as an ADHD person, I hear wonderful things all the time. And I'll be like, oh, I'm going to hold on to that nugget forever. And then my brain is squirrels. That's why I write everything down. And even then, sometimes I got so many notes, it's hard to go back for it. But I really want y'all, if there was something I said today that really stuck with you today, and you're like, I need to make sure I'm applying this into my life, I want you to write it down. Write down as quickly as you can while it's still fresh in your brain, all the little points that you want to think through, marinate on, chew on, go to God about, talk to your friends about, whatever it is. I want you to put it in your spirit about how you can implement it in your life this year. And then I want you to work it out. Do what you can towards it. Keep me updated about what area of your life that you're wanting to like take a shift. Again, I titled this over on the Facebook or YouTube side of it, like diet versus lifestyle, because my goal is we got to stop boycotting and start changing our lifestyle. A boycott is great. It's effective. It's cute. It solves a problem like an immediate, like they're seeing, like Target is seeing their projections, and their shareholders are suing Target now because they're seeing how quickly the decline has impacted them when we went on boycott. So boycotting absolutely has an effect for us, but long term, the effect of boycotting is like going on a diet. All it does is we just bounce right back to the same foolishness. We have got to make a conscious effort to change our lifestyle and say, I'm just not going to consume things I don't actually value anymore. It doesn't mean that you don't consume things. I don't want this to feel like in order for this to be successful, you got to live a deprived life. No. I'm not for that. I had a client actually just this week, and she was like, you'll be so proud of me. We didn't eat out all this week. And so you'll be so proud of me. And I was like, that depends. Cause I'm not a financial coach who tells you like, don't have coffee, don't have blah, blah, blah. Right. It depends. Is it in alignment with the things you said you care about? Is it part of your, you know what I mean? Like we got to spend some time being really clear on what we value and what we care about in order to be able to make our spending align. But most of the time we're spending like subconsciously. We just are in our rhythm because this is what we normally do. And this is what my mama did. And so we just are in a rhythm. And this gives you this interruption in spending, all this crazy stuff that's happening in government is making us want to boycott. Allow this to give you permission to pay attention to what you were buying anyway, and ask yourself, like, did I even care about that, like that, use that, like, right? One of the exercises that's in this workbook is a values exercise, and I'll tell you kind of how it works because I'm not a gatekeeper. I don't care. That the exercise has like this page. You obviously can't see it, but you can look up a values page where it gives you an idea of like different words that might reflect your values. And so in this particular exercise, I'm having you to go through and like highlight 10 different words that stand out to you that you believe are your core values. This is where it gets tricky because a lot of times we'll say this is something I value when it's really something you think you should value because society told you should. Right? Sorry, TikTok's want me to prove I'm a human. Society's telling you you should value this, and so you're tempted to highlight. I really want you to really think about like what you really value. I'm going to give you an example for myself. I really value security. Like I value that a lot. And when I think about a purchasing decision, I one of the ways I ask myself if I should buy this is, does this make me more secure or less secure? Is this going to contribute to my security or is it going to make me less secure? So an example might be if I buy something that's going to create a scenario where I'm not going to know if I'm going to be able to pay my electricity bill, or I could lose my car. Like, that's creating instability for me. And that's a complete misalignment with my value. Now, there are times when two things you want can be competing. And that's a question of like, which value matters most to you. So this exercise takes you through identifying like several values and then narrowing them down to your core values so that you can see how often does this value show up in my budget. If I said that these are my values and I looked at my bank account, would I be able to tell what you care about by looking at your money? The Bible says where your treasure is, where your heart will be also. Your bank account really does tell a story about what the things that are important to you. My bank account tell you I literally value good food. That's what my bank account will tell you. I value a quality culinary experience. It is one of my values, but it's not a core value. It's not one of my highest values. So when that is in competition with eating, when that clearly I'm hungry. When that is I told y'all it's my birthday. I need to eat. When that value is in competition with security will always win, because that value dominates the way I interact with people, the type of job I will accept. Like, I could see like all the ways that value really shines for me. And everyone's values are different and nobody's values are wrong. So I encourage you, and values are something that changes over your lifespan. The things that you value as a 20-year-old isn't and shouldn't be the same things you value as a 40-year-old. And they damn sure aren't the same things you're going to value as an 80-year-old. Your needs, your life is completely different. So it's important when you're trying to work on your finances to assess yourself every year of like, what do I value now? What's important to me now? As your kids start to, when your kids are younger and they're in the house, your values are a little bit different than when they're out of the house. So you need to revisit like what's important to me now, because now I need to realign my budget based on who I am today and what I care about right now in my life, what's important to me, what I believe. Your beliefs will change over time. Your beliefs, not just spiritually, but just your beliefs in general, right? Those things will change. So right now, I believe, and I probably will always believe this, I'm dumb in belief of investing in myself. Like, I believe in that, okay? I believe in investing myself. It's not hard at all for me to spend money to learn something new. I believe that. I know that I'm gonna get an ROI because I'm gonna do the work, and I'm gonna do due diligence to make sure that I'm investing in something that's worthwhile, but I believe in it. But there are some people who don't believe in that yet. And so they won't pay for a course. They want a quick fix. They want to, they won't pay for coaching, not just financial coaching, but they won't pay for business coaching. They won't pay for an accountant to help their business. They won't pay for a website designer to build their website. They don't want to pay, Like, they don't want to pay for help. And so they'll struggle longer and suffer longer than they have to. I'm past that phase. I had that stage of DIYing things to save money, right? And I realized that I was losing so much time and it wasn't worth the money. I was losing way more money on the back end, you know what I mean? Because my time is valuable. So because I value my time, I joyfully will swipe my card to get help. So I don't have to figure this shit out by myself. I have 2 business coaches because business is hard. It's not for the faint. It's not for punks. Okay. I don't want to have to struggle more than I absolutely have to. And so I value learning. I value support. I value my time and expedience. And so my spending habits reflect that. I challenge you guys. Thank you for the birthday, love. I challenge you guys to think about, what do I care about and how often does my bank account reflect that? And if right now they feel completely misaligned, then this is a good time for you to set back and figure out what in your budget do you want to. Here's it is. We're not cutting. We're moving money from something you don't actually care about to something you do. And this is why I said to my client when she said, "Oh, I didn't eat out. You'll be really proud." It depends. Cute glasses. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. It depends on what you value. So if you value quality time with your child, right, and you've been spending all your money eating out or buying clothes or buying gizmos and gadgets galore, right? And that's not even important to you, or you've been spending money, I don't know, on YouTube. You got all the streaming channels, but you don't even really, you could watch TV, but you don't really care, right? You value quality time. You can move that money from your entertainment budget of streaming services, and now you have money available for going to plays and activities with your kids or with your partner, whatever it is, right? You're not spending any less, you're spending differently. You're spending in alignment with what you care about. You see the difference is you're shifting it to what you care about, not what society probably convinced you needed a long time ago. And maybe at that time it was something you care about, but you've never assessed your values since the last time you did. So you don't know what you care about anymore. And you just continue that expense in your budget because, well, I've been had this. Well, you don't really do that no more. Why are you still paying for this? And you don't, you know what I mean? We just keep adding to our budget instead of seeing, like, in this season of my life, do I still need this? Okay. That is it for Money Mondays, y'all. I thank y'all for joining with me and staying connected. I appreciate y'all spending my birthday with me today. I appreciate all the love and the engagement and the comments. I hope y'all come back next Monday. If I showed up on my birthday, y'all know I'm gonna show up next week, right? Y'all know I'm gonna show up next week, guys. I appreciate you. Thank you for the hearts. I appreciate you. I appreciate y'all so much for coming in. Doing lives is hard. It's scary to be up here talking, but I care more about y'all than I care about my fears. I'm just pissed off enough about what this administration is doing to move past my anxiety and show up for y'all. That's an example of using this as motivation, using this administration as motivation to change your lifestyle, not just do a diet. If this was helpful to you, again, share my platform, follow me. I look forward to, I'll follow you back as well. Feel free to send me a DM if you guys have any questions. I'm really nice. I respond. And that's it. I'll see y'all next week.